Hello everybody, it is the Lawn Gnome, and welcome to the very first Great Film Throwback Day of 2019. If you are new to my channel, first of all, welcome, it is a pleasure to have you, and if you are returning, thank you so much for coming back. If you are unaware of what this is a series that I do once a month, where I take a look at and give you a review of a film that is known as a true great, whether it is from the golden age of cinema or a true cult classic that everybody enjoys. It is basically my time to finally see some of these great films, so I could be known as the great film appreciator that I really should be. Today we're going to get started on a film that I really should have seen a long time ago, because I read the book beforehand, and that of course is the Frank Darabont film directed in 1999, The Green Mile, based on the novel serial series created by Stephen King, and also starring a stellar cast including Tom Hanks, the late Michael Clarke Duncan, James Cromwell, Patricia Clarkson, Barry Pepper, Bonnie Hunt, and Sam Rockwell. So I really did not remember much about this book. I do remember some of the characters, and of course I do remember the basic plot of the story. It is the story of a warden named Paul Edgecombe who works in a prison in Louisiana, and he works in Block E, which is the area where some of the more dangerous criminals are held captive for the sake of going on death row to the electric chair. And because of the fact that the floor of this specific block is a pale green, they refer to it as the Green Mile. And one day, Paul Edgecombe and his crew receive a prisoner, a gargantuan black man named John Coffey, who has been convicted of raping and murdering two little white girls during the time of the Great Depression. This movie takes place in 1935, by the way. So while this prisoner is there are strange things that seem to be happening, and strange thoughts going through the prison guards' heads. We don't really know what the deal is with John Coffey, because if he is truly a ruthless, brutal murderer, they don't understand why he's so polite, why he's so kind, and more importantly, why he has a supernatural power of healing. That's where the Stephen King twist comes in. So, I do remember really liking this book, but I really don't know why it took me such a long time to see this movie, and granted, there are great things to say about this movie, but for me, it wasn't one of the greatest film experiences that I had. First of all, I will not deny the fact that the acting is absolutely spectacular. This is definitely one of Tom Hanks' best performances, and as far as I'm concerned, knowing the late Michael Clarke Duncan, this, I think, was the greatest performance that he ever had as John Coffey. He even got nominated for an Academy Award for this film, and the film itself got nominated for Best Picture. There's also a beautiful score from Thomas Newman in this film. It is so beautiful, and even though it's taking place in some of the most darkest places and showing some of the worst pieces of the human condition, we still get a very soothing thing, and that pretty much resembles John Coffey's presence here, because they still don't understand what he is doing in here. And there are great performances all around, especially from Sam Rockwell. He plays this crazy lunatic prisoner named Wild Billy, and his performance was absolutely phenomenal. He was a character that you just had no pity for. You just wanted to see him curl up and die. The atmosphere of the film is also fantastic, and that's because it's Stephen King. If there's one thing that Stephen King does in all of his books, regardless of whether it's a drama or a horror, let's not forget the fact that he also made The Shawshank Redemption, he really captures a true atmosphere. He basically boxed the reader or the viewer, based on his film adaptations, into a corner to really sit and observe these characters. You sit with them, you learn about them, you grow to either love or hate them. You see all the kinds of emotions carried by all of these characters, and you just never seem to know how to escape this place that you are in. You are just enveloped in this story, in this atmosphere, and that is one of the main reasons why you just cannot stop watching a Stephen King-based film or reading a Stephen King book. But I will say one of the parts that I'm not too fond about this movie is the fact that it really does drag. I mean, I don't have anything wrong with a slow burn. It's not as bad as Dances with Wolves. I did make a review of that movie, by the way. It wasn't that I hated the movie. I really did think the movie was powerful and gripping. It just really, really dragged. And when I finished the movie, I actually wanted to read the book again, because I really remember loving the book, but it had been such a long time, and seeing this movie really gave me the incentive to do so. If you haven't seen The Green Mile, I would definitely say that it's one of those movies that you should see at least once in your life, but I'm pretty certain that there are many people that love it more than me. It's not a movie that I want to see over and over again, and I also have to be a bit hypocritical because I can sit through these kinds of movies. It all just depends on the movie that it is. I mean, let's not forget that you're talking to someone who sits through a 5-hour extended edition of Return of the King. And he can do that whenever he damn well pleases because he just loves that movie to death. But I don't want to see this movie again, and I don't want to own this movie on DVD because it just doesn't seem to be like one of those movies that I would pick up and watch again. The whole atmosphere was just so enveloping. It was just, you couldn't escape this story. You had to see how it all went. And there really were some really powerful emotional moments throughout the film that really got me. But it really makes me want to read the book again because I would like to compare the two. And I would probably say, at the end of the day, I'll give it a proud 2.5 stars out of 4. It was good, but I just really didn't feel as great as I wanted to when I finished watching this movie. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. Please leave your comments in the box below, and let's discuss The Green Mile. And I will see you in the next one. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by my channel today. If you're new here and want to see more of what my channel has to offer, please click on the link to my last video, or hit that subscribe button to be kept up to date with all of my uploads. Content of all sorts is posted here quite often, so trust me, you do not want to fall behind. I will see you in the comments, and actions speak louder than words.